Everyone talks about moving back to Nigeria, like you're coming home to people. But nobody prepares you for the moment when you realize you've never felt this alone before. And the confusing part, you're not actually alone. I mean, you have family, you have people around you, you have noise, movement, conversations happening everywhere. But somehow, none of it reaches you. I mean, there's a kind of loneliness that comes from being physically alone. And then there's a deeper kind. I mean, the one where you're surrounded by people, but you don't feel understood. And that is the loneliness of Japada that nobody fully admits. Because before you moved back, you imagined connection, you imagined community, you imagined being fully around your own people. You thought, I won't feel isolated anymore. I will finally belong. But you know what happens? When you get here and that feeling doesn't come, what happens instead? You feel like you don't have connection with your people. You feel distant. That's when it starts to hit you. Something has changed. And that something is you. Because living abroad changes you in ways you don't always notice. I mean, your thinking changes, your habits change, your expectations towards things change, the way you see life, finance, and everything in between. And when you come back, you expect to just, fall into place. But instead, you start to feel like you're in between two worlds. You're not fully the same person you used to be, but you're also not fully accepted as you have become. So where does that leave you? In the middle. And that middle space can feel very lonely. I mean, you notice it in conversations. Sometimes you want to talk about certain things and you realize that the people around you are not on that wavelength, or they are, but the conversation goes in a direction that drains you instead of fulfilling you. So you start holding back. You keep things surface level with people. I mean, you stop expressing yourself. You stop expressing certain parts of yourself. Not because you want to, but because it feels easier. And slowly, you start disconnecting. Not dramatically, nothing drastic, just quietly. You still show up. You still smile. You still engage. But intentionally, there is a gap. Now, let's talk about something most people don't even realize they are experiencing. The difference between being alone and being unsupported. Because they're not the same thing after all. Like, they're not the same thing at all. You can be alone and still feel at peace. But feeling unsupported, that hits differently. That's the kind of feeling where you don't feel like you have anyone that you can truly lean on. And for a lot of people who move back, this is where the loneliness really depends. Because before you moved back, you had your system. You had friends that you chose. People who understood your lifestyle. People who, for a better choice of words, matched your mindset. You had independence. And even if you are alone sometimes, you didn't feel unsupported. But now, you're in a different environment. And suddenly, support doesn't look the way you're used to. Sometimes it even feels like the opposite. Yeah. Instead of, being supported, you feel needed. Constantly needed. I mean, emotionally, financially, mentally, and then that shift can be so overwhelming. Because now you're the one people lean on. But who do you lean on? That question is where the loneliness starts to sink in. Because when you don't have an answer, you start carrying everything alone. You process your stress alone, your thoughts alone. You figure things out alone. You hold your emotions in. And even though people are around you, you don't feel held. You feel responsible. Now, let's talk about relationships, because this is where things change even more, to be honest. When you move back, your relationships don't stay the same. I mean, that shift, there is a shift. Friends you thought would reconnect with you don't feel the same anymore. The conversations feel different. The energy feels different. The connection feels off, and it's confusing because you're thinking, what changed? And the answer is simple: growth, time, experience. I mean, you both changed, just not in the same direction. And that creates distance. Now, let's talk about family, because this is where it gets really emotional. When you move back, family is supposed to feel like home, right? But sometimes it comes with pressure, unspoken expectations, emotional obligations, constant accessibility. And while there is love, there is also weight. Because you're no longer just a family member, you're a resource. And that changes everything. You start noticing patterns. I mean, you're called when something is needed. Your presence is expected. Your no feels uncomfortable. And slowly, you start protecting yourself. You start protecting your peace. You give less, you share less, you engage less. And while that protects your energy, it also creates distance. So which brings you back to loneliness. Now let's go even deeper, because loneliness doesn't stay the same. If it's not addressed, it evolves. Yeah. And evolves into isolation. And isolation doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. At first, it feels like, oh my God, I need space. You say, I am tired. I want to rest. I will talk later. And then it becomes a pattern. You stop picking. You stop getting excited when your call comes. You delay messages, to respond. You avoid interactions, even a lot of family gatherings. Not because you don't care, but because everything feels like an effort. And slowly you withdraw until your life becomes very quiet. Too quiet. And in that silence, your thoughts get louder. You start overthinking. Did I make the right decision? Am I happy here? Do I belong here? Should I have moved back? And because you're not expressing these thoughts, they grow. And that's the dangerous part. Isolation can feel very comfortable because it protects you. No pressure, no expectation, no explanation. But over time, it starts to cost you. You lose connection. You lose support. And most importantly, you lose parts of yourself. And then something else happens. Emotional shutdown. You stop feeling deeply. Things don't excite you anymore. Things don't upset you the same way they used to. You just feel neutral. And it feels like peace. But it's not. It's disconnection. And if you stay there too long, you lose your spark. You lose the reason you came back. But here's what you need to understand. And here's why I'm making this video. Because you're not broken. So now, let's shift a bit from awareness to rebuilding, right? Because loneliness is not the end. It's actually a signal. Yes. And a signal that something needs attention. So the first thing I would say you should do is rebuild connection, even before you move back to Nigeria. Be very intentional. Not by forcing old relationships, but by creating new ones that align with who you are now. People who understand you, people who respect your space, who think alike, people who make connection feel easy. And the second thing is to reconnect with yourself. Because in the process of adjusting, you might have lost touch with who you really are, what ground you are on. So, what you can do is ask yourself, what makes me feel like me? And you make space for you. Give yourself grace. The third thing is to create a routine. Because when life feels unpredictable, routine creates stability. The fourth thing is to find emotional outlets. You cannot carry everything inside. You need to release it. Talk to a therapist. Talk to yourself. Talk to people that understand. Talk to returnees. Write. Express yourself. And the fifth one is to redefine home. Home is not automatic. It's something you create through your environment, your people, your habits. And finally, give yourself time. You're adjusting, you're evolving, you are rebuilding. This is not easy, but it's so possible. You're not alone in this, and you will be okay. Take your time, reconnect slowly, gradually, you will find your place again. And when that happens, remember I made this video. Thank you so much. My name still remains Sarah Donald, and stay blessed.